Art, why are you holding your penis? Art, what's happening?
Mom.
What's happening? What does Mommy do?
Mom's got me.
Shawcross has murdered 11 women and is serving a 250-year prison sentence. To the outside world, Shawcross was just a regular guy. He lived here in this apartment on Alexander Street with his fourth wife, Rose. He worked nights at the local cheese factory and spent much of his free time fishing the banks of the Genesee River. Arthur Shawcross had now been arrested and was awaiting trial for the murder of 11 women. There was no doubt he had killed them, but his defense team now set about exploring a fundamental question. What made Arthur Shawcross act so violently?
Everybody knows there's something wrong with Arthur Shawcross. He's not a normal person. Everybody. You know that just from the beginning. So what is it? Could there be something neurologically wrong with him?
Eminent neurologist Jonathan Pincus has examined the brains of numerous serial killers and believes that damage to certain areas of the brain is a major factor in causing extreme violence. The brain scan of Arthur Shawcross fitted this pattern.
If you have a lesion on the MRI, you've got an abnormality in the EEG coming from exactly the same place, and behavior that's rather bizarre that comes from this part of the brain. I think it's likely that the abnormality of the brain has something to do with his behavior. So much that I think that had he not been neurologically abnormal, I think he probably would not have been a serial murderer.
Dr. Lewis led Shawcross through a series of interviews, some conducted under a form of hypnosis.
What are you doing now? What's happening? What are you doing now? What we discovered and then were able to verify was the fact that he was horribly mistreated sexually as a child. In the course of the interviews, he relived some of that experience, which was out of his conscious awareness. Art, why are you holding your penis? Art, what's happening?
Mom.
What's happening? What does Mommy do?
Mom's got me.
Mom's got you now? What does she do?
Playing with me.
Okay, and what's happening?
Started kissing me.
And what's happening? Why are you crying, Art?
It hurts.
What hurts, Art?
She squeezed me.
And what do you say to Mommy? What do you say to her?
No.
What do you
Stop.
say?
Stop. No.
What did your mother do?
My mother gave me oral sex. She performed oral sex on me for several years.
He, very young, he ran away from home. He used to hide under the teacher's desk. He was an extremely bizarre and troubled child, very, very early on. So that there's a consistency to this history of abuse. Just prior to the murder, there would be some event, very often some disagreement or some threat to him where the woman may have said, "I'll tell your wife about this," or something. And then he would see bright, bright white light. And then the next thing he'd know, he would wake up. And he would wake up often in his car, and he would look beside him and there would be a body. He did not have conscious knowledge of what he was doing or conscious control over what he was doing.
I would say it's three things interacting. It's brain damage, mental illness, and the experience of having been abused. Every one of those things is a factor in it. They interact so that if you didn't have one of them, the likelihood of violence would be tremendously reduced.
The defense entered a plea of not guilty by means of insanity. In essence, they argued that Shawcross was not responsible for his actions.
Few things are more tragic than the murder of a beautiful theory by a gang of brutal facts. And I think that's the answer there. It's a beautiful theory, but it was just laid low by the facts.
He claimed his mother put a broom handle, inserted it into his anus, and shoved it up, was his description. That clearly would have resulted in major trauma. There was no evidence of any such trauma. During the trial, I received a call from his mother. She questioned, why is he saying these things? Why are they claiming these things?
Your mom has obviously denied that anything like that happened.
Everyone would. Can you picture what would happen to a person if she admitted she did shit like that to me?
If he was lying and he hadn't been sexually abused, that would confound you.
It would indeed. It's almost inconceivable that he was not sexually abused. The prosecutor thinks that his upbringing was completely normal. This is just a man who was bad. He's evil. And he killed those women because he wanted to do it, and he enjoyed doing it. That's not normal. No matter what the prosecutor feels is normal, that's not normal.
Is somebody who kills 11 people here and has killed 2 kids before got issues? Absolutely. But that's not the claim. It's not the argument that they're not in some way disturbed. The issue is you don't qualify for an insanity defense. Shawcross knew what he was doing. And if you know it's wrong, then you're responsible for your acts. That's the way it works.
After hearing 3 weeks of evidence, the jury were unconvinced by the argument that Shawcross was insane. They found him guilty on all the counts of murder. He was sentenced to 250 years in jail.
Guilty.